Welcome to this week's episode of the Hunting Grounds. This episode is action-packed as you go with me as I self-film 2 of my hunts, and this week's management moment is something you will not want to miss as we talk about the hot topic of food plot preparation.
The legacy of the sportsman is fading. Traditions are being lost. We are not just meant to live on this earth, but we are to subdue it, have dominion over it. To preserve the sport of hunting, pass on traditions to the youth. That is our legacy. The legacy of the hunting grounds.
The Hunting Grounds is brought to you by Lucky Buck, Popeyes of Northwest Arkansas, SJF Productions, Rhino Outdoors, Eagle Seed, Antler Dirt, Shaybug Design, and Hook, Line, and Sinker Outdoors.
Well, this season's already been great, and I've been lucky enough to tag my biggest buck with a bow ever, and I self-filmed that hunt. Now this might just be the year of self-filmed hunts for me. We're going back out to that same piece of property, have a big 9-point spotted. It's a cold early morning, we're getting one of our first frosts, and I have a perfect idea of where these deer are traveling through. Now I wasn't able to get a deer stand in this area. The foliage is too thick and it's pretty thick down low, so I kind of set up a makeshift ground blind, and I know those deer are going to come by at any point in time.
Alright, we got on here a little late this morning. The sun wasn't coming up yet, but you could see the horizon. We decided to go ahead and back off in the woods. That's where they're spending the majority of their time. I'm sure they're in the fields right now, but we're hoping that they'll come this way. The fields aren't, about 300 yards away, so we'll see if they make their way this way.
Now those does came through and they traveled into that thick area, and it wasn't long before they came busting back out, and I knew a big boy was in there. I just had to be patient and he was going to show up. Now I was down to one last chance. The does were filtering out of there. I was seeing the trail they were taking. I knew big boy was going to come down it, so I got the camera set up, zoomed in, and all I had to do was wait him out and hope that he'd come by.
And now time for the Dig in 365 management moment.
Now I've been receiving a lot of questions about food plot preparation and pH levels. Now here on the Hunting Grounds property we use Eagle Seed soybeans and winter wheat, which gives us a great year-round food source. Now the soybeans are great summer browse and fall browse with their large leaves, and they're also a great winter browse because they have those bean pods that the deer come in and eat, and at the same time below that the winter wheat's growing up. Now our food plots have performed great this year. We've only hunted them a few times just to keep the pressure off of them, but every time we've been out there we've had huge success. Now a lot of you guys have asked me about pH levels, and you can get the pH of your soil by taking a quick soil sample and sending it in for analysis. It usually costs somewhere about 20 bucks, and there will send you an idea of exactly what you need to add to your food plot to reach your desired pH level. Now we've added lime to some of our food plots to increase the pH level, but studies have shown adding organic material to your food plots helps neutralize that pH level. So disking it back in your previous food plot can help that a lot. Now when you're dealing with Eagle Seed soybeans, you probably need a pH level somewhere between 5.8 and 6.5, and you want the soil temperature to be about 60 degrees before you plant to ensure some great germination is going to happen. Now when doing soil preparation work for your food plot, we normally like to go in and take a disc and only work the top portion of the soil. That helps to prevent too much erosion and too much disturbance of the soil. But if you can go in and drill plant, that's the preferred method. But spreading by hand will also work if you have enough dirt to cover the seed adequately. Now once you have your food plots established, you can help direct the deer there by making trails and cutting gaps in the fence. Now we've cleared trails, and you'd be surprised how many deer work up and down these trails time after time coming in the food plot, and this really helps you during hunting season because you know exactly where to put your stand, and it's going to help get that deer within bow range. Now clearing trails to your food plots can be a really cost-effective way to make sure those deer are going to come to your food plots and stray away from your neighbors. Now you want to make sure to tune in for next week's management moment because we're going to go to one of our properties, Twin Creek 60, and we're going to show you exactly what we do when we acquire a new piece of property. We're going to go through making food plots, making trails, creating bedding areas. It's something that you will not want to miss.
This real tall nice that looked like a big 8 come through, and I couldn't get the camera on him. I had the cameras on the does. He's kind of pushing those does around, and so I knew he'd come back in that area, and he's fixing to leave. I think I got him on film, so I think it'll work out pretty good. I'm super pumped. I was gonna wait for a 150 class deer, but man, this is probably a 140 class 8-point, and you just can't hardly pass those up when you're in Northwest Arkansas. Whew. Man, he's just a good big old buck. Look at him there. I mean, he tried to get through that fence. It wasn't happening this time. So you couldn't ask for any more of a perfect morning. God's really been blessing the hunting grounds this season. It's been blessing me a lot. This is my second buck this season. I'm tagged out here in Arkansas. I took a clean shot. You know, I was going to wait for a 150 class buck, but when you have an opportunity to buck like this in Arkansas, you just don't pass it up. You'd be crazy to. But this allows me to free up a lot more of my time. I can get more kids out there hunting and get behind the camera a little bit more, which I enjoy just as much. So.
Now I've got a buck with a bow and a buck with a muzzleloader, and I did it filming myself on both hunts. Now I want to try to go for the Triple Crown. Triple Crown here in Arkansas is an incentive that the Arkansas Game and Fish put up to try to tag a deer with a muzzleloader, a gun, and archery. And it seems like I've tried to do this since I was a kid, and each year I usually tag a deer with the same weapon, and I can't get my Triple Crown. But this just might be the year. So I'm down at deer camp. I literally have one day to travel back up to Northwest Arkansas and try to get my doe with a modern gun. So I head back up there. I leave all the guys at camp, and I'm hoping I can get this done. Now this is a hunt you will not believe. I'm trying to take a doe with a modern gun. Seems simple and easy, but every doe in this county has dug a hole and buried herself in it trying to hide from these bucks. I'm seeing buck after buck after buck, some 150s, some 140s, some 130s, and I've already filled my buck tag. I can't find a doe for the life of me, especially a mature doe. I don't know if this is going to happen. We'll have to see.
Such a small piece of property that there's so many does, I know I can get a mature doe taken out of the herd. It just makes hunting a little bit better in the area.
Now I've seen tons of deer, tons of bucks, and some young does. I haven't seen my mature doe that I'm looking for. It's getting down to the last 10 minutes, literally, of daylight. I'm walking around, spotting and stalking, and I finally came upon 3 does, and I hope I can make it happen. Well, that's it. I did it. I got my triple crown here in Arkansas. I got my buck with the archery, buck with the muzzleloader, and a doe with a modern gun. It's something that I've dreamed about since I was a little kid. Now, God's really blessed me this season with just a great season, and I'm so thankful, and I couldn't ask for anything more. Well, that's it for this week's episode. If you guys like to learn more about Eagle Seed soybeans, check out eagleseed.com. And be sure to interact with the Huntin' Grounds on our Facebook page and go to our website at www.thehuntingrounds.com. Well, till next time, be sure to go out of your way to get a new youth or a new hunter involved in the outdoors. And as always, have a better than average day.
To learn more about the Hunting Grounds, be sure to check out our Facebook page and our website at thehuntingrounds.com. And be sure to follow us at Twitter at THGTV.
Music for the Huntin' Grounds is provided by Brian Matthew Ellis.
What am I going to say after that? Crap. Kill my heel. You're making fake. You're like your lip twitches. And it makes me like I self-filmed that on hunt. I self-filmed that on hunt there. You're going crazy. Leave this hunt. It's recording. I know. I went blank.